So the Marauders Dev Blog just ended, and we're talking about the update that's coming in December, and of course answering community questions. But I simply wanted to cover the things that you can expect in the December update called Ace, or the Red Baron. So they say, welcome back, Space Pirates, to our second dev blog. They said they had a lot to show us, which they did. Now, they did mention that the plan changes will be coming in the Red Baron update, but there's a chance that not all of them will be included. So before I start and go through the dev blog, or at least the new content and changes that are somewhat confirmed for the next update, there'll be a link in the description down below if you want to go and read it for yourselves. So the first point they touched on is too much of a good thing. So they said their last patch had landed as they had hoped, with a focus on addressing major issues. So they knew it was a large patch straight out of the gate, was the best way to show their intention and determination to support the game and our community for the long term. They did say that they heard us loud and clear in regards to too much change too fast, and that's specifically in regards to the balancing around weaponry and armor. So they say moving forward, we'll be looking at more tweaks at a more manageable pace so we can let things marinate and see what everyone thinks. Next, moving on to the section which they call Raid Fever. So they say in the upcoming update called Red Baron, we will be introducing an extension to our raid location mechanic so we can have more raids per instance. There will now be a chance to have multiple locations to breach and dock, creating a more dynamic and exciting experience, as you can see below. So they say the big difference, however, is that we've increased the number of crews per match to 10. So that means there could be up to 40 space pirates in a match, which is awesome because sometimes matches could feel a little bit stale, especially when people kind of rotate out. It's not the map you need, so you kind of just duck out, reroll, hope to get the map you want, or see the merchant ship, or see the capital frigate. At least having more crews per match makes it so even if a couple leave, there's still going to be a sizable amount of players in the match. So they say they're also increasing the size of each battleground to accommodate this, but not by too much. So by that, I think they mean actual size of the maps. And they have a screenshot here, which you can see on screen. This specific map, or this specific instance, has the spaceport and the prison and the merchant frigate. So that's a whole lot of POIs to go to in a single raid, as opposed to having to re-roll your maps all the time. So very interesting change here, and I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. Will less crews be leaving? Hopefully. Moving on to the big boss, so Red Baron. So Red Baron will introduce our first fully fledged boss. And yes, some of you may have guessed it, the new boss is indeed an expert pilot with their own custom ship. So you can see the screenshots on screen right now. So they say they're particularly excited about this because now not only will you need to contend in CQB, but space combat. So get honing those aeronautic skills. So as you can see, the Red Baron ship looks absolutely awesome, and there's like a little mock-up of what he will look like. I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to actually breaching his ship and stealing it, because you will be able to take it out of raid with you and keep it in your ship stash. Curious to see how good he will be at space combat. Kind of like, you know, the AI interceptors aren't that great, so hopefully this guy's a little bit better, you know, just a little bit to make you sweat, some sweat bead off your forehead when you see that awesome red ship coming your way. Moving on to the next section, which is called The Red Death Cometh. Red Baron is the Central Empire's best recruit. The ship reflects this in an imperious aesthetic. A darkly lit, expansive yet claustrophobic environment. This is a state-of-the-art strike frigate built for one purpose: destruction. Taking control and commanding the helm is not going to be easy in the presence of this death trap. So we can see the screenshots, very dimly lit, a whole lot of red, which is probably going to reflect a lot off the visors. Curious to see if there's going to be crewmen on board as well as the Red Baron, and how difficult it will be to fight, and how difficult it will be to eventually steal the ship if you do end up killing the Red Baron. So a lot of things to look forward to in this new update, but it's not over yet. So next, moving on to Contract Refactor. So another exciting change is a restructuring to daily contracts. We'll be looking to divide this into two systems. So they say raid contracts will provide 3 contracts, one from each faction at the beginning of the raid, that are context sensitive to the raid locations that have appeared in the match. So as you remember earlier, there can now be multiple locations or POIs per map. As we saw in the screenshot, that was Space Station and the prison and the merchant frigate. That means the contracts you'll get will be as soon as you enter the raid, and you'll get one from each faction. So instead of always having to re-roll maps to complete your daily contracts, the daily contract will be based off of what you get in that specific instance, which is absolutely fantastic. And again, this is just going to mitigate how many people leave an instance, because you're going to have the contracts for the raid that you're in, as opposed to just having to re-roll all the time, which is an absolutely fantastic change. So they also mentioned this is to allow an easier track to leveling up factions, a new competitive dynamic between crews that share the same goal, and to make sure the objective can be achieved without the mishaps of RNG, which nobody really likes at the end of the day. Or, you know, it's all right, but not in all instances. Next, the daily market. So this is in the main menu where daily contracts previously existed. It's a more passive way to earn rare loot and provides opportunities to trade items for something desirable. This will remain limited, but similar to the current daily contract system with up to 6 per day. So as far as I understood from the dev blog, this isn't trading in between players. This is trading with like the factions themselves. You can, and they mentioned you can trade coins. So coins are going to be part of that system, that you're going to need coins to trade for desirable loot, which is good because coins don't really have that much of a purpose, especially the gold coins. They're just there to sell, or maybe they're going to use war bonds as well. So giving some items a little bit more value other than just flat out money. Now, this is the kicker here. They said to incorporate these features, we will have a wipe. So coming with the Red Baron update, there will be a wipe. So just prepare yourself that all your stuff is going to be gone. Because again, these are big systems, and these are things that we have to expect from early access games when they implement big systems like this that do sweeping changes to certain mechanics such as daily contracts or zero to hero contracts. Wipes are going to be part of the early access experience. It sucks, but it is what it is. Moving on to the next section, we're going to need a bigger gun. So they say more weapons and attachments are being added with every update. In Red Baron, we have a few, but they're talking about a specific one, the L1A1 battle rifle. So they say our variant within the game is chambered in 300 Magnum and comes with a few attachments, making it the strongest automatic rifle in the game, dealing a whopping 38 damage. Its default capacity of 20 will make the extended mag option very tempting, so make sure to keep a lookout for supply crates. So only obtainable through supply crates, which will make it interesting. It looks like an absolute monster of a weapon. 38 damage per shot is devastating, actually devastating. That's almost as much damage as like the Johnson and the SVT-40, so that's absolutely insane. And last but certainly not least, the mini mine. So during our prototype pre-production days, we quickly built a test level to demonstrate the features we were trying to achieve. This was actually the first iteration of the asteroid mine. Some of our backers will remember it clearly. Last week, we thought it should make a return with a new lick of paint. Throughout production, we want to keep a balance of new raids that are both dockable and breachable. This old asteroid mine map will be returning as a breach-only map, so kind of like the merchant ship and the capital frigate, codenamed Minimine, a large mining ship that has coupled with a valuable space rock. Our new implementation will give players the experience of a ship breach segment before exploring downwards to the depths of its organic, gritty location. And the screenshot's on screen right now. It looks pretty cool. So you have the ship part, then I would imagine it like dug into that asteroid right there. So you're probably going to be able to explore, I don't know, scaffolding. There's stairs built into the asteroid. So it's going to be interesting, new little location, just giving us a bunch of new stuff to explore. Of course, more POIs per map, more enemies per map, so more actual players instead of just fighting off AI all the time. And they're trying to mitigate how many people leave all the time because they don't have the maps for their daily contracts or for their zero to hero contracts. So a lot of good changes coming in the Red Baron update. Obviously, the boss, probably the highlight of this update. New weapons, which I would imagine we'll see more of with the actual patch notes. And of course, probably a bunch of bug fixes, quality of life fixes, and stuff like that. But that'll be it for today's video. I just want to make it as fast as I could. So there you have it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you are most excited for. And hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.